7,468 miles. That's how far it is to sail across the Pacific Ocean. So how did we manage to turn that into 20,000? When we set off from Panama full of excitement and ready to take on a whole new adventure, we could never have imagined what was in store. From mid-sea collisions to humpback whales, hundreds of sharks, and the most friendly and welcoming people we have ever met, the South Pacific has been full of surprises. We've made it our mission to reach some of the most untouched corners of this vast blue ocean. We've had the honor of sharing how people live in some of the most remote communities on this planet. We've taken risks to chart previously unmapped atolls, and we've even sailed through nuclear reactive waters to reach the pearl farms of the Gambier. But now it's time to take on what might be the most challenging passage yet. Having welcomed our new crew, we are setting sail for New Zealand, a land of milk and honey, safely south of the cyclones that are bearing down on us. This passage is renowned for damaging boats and their crew, but with Indioko in dire need of repairs, we have no choice but to take on this voyage and pray that she makes it there in one piece.
We have been planning this for months, so we have been heading in every direction as we cross the Pacific. Now it is finally time to head south. We are going to New Zealand!
It is official, we are heading to New Zealand. Well, we're actually going to do a little detour because, as you probably know if you've watched any other people sailing on this vast internet, there's a stopping point. There's a small pit stop called Minerva Reef, which is almost legendary. It is a submerged atoll, a bit like Beveridge Reef that we were in previously. However, it's kind of a nice pit stop on the way to New Zealand, and people head there from Tonga, from Fiji, stop in there and wait for the perfect weather window. So it's about a 2-day sail, give or take, depends on the conditions. But we decided, because the sail to New Zealand is so infamous, we've added a crew member. And you might have seen in last week's episode we announced who that was. He is currently on the helm, and so far we are going in the right direction, so that's a win. And it's my dad.
Well, I was about to say, with 3 crew members, we're going to film this so well because, you know, we're used to 2 people, but now we have a camera person. And then we changed the sails and put the mainsail up, and none of us picked up a camera. So maybe this is actually spelling out trouble, but we will do our best to show you the rest of the journey. Here we go.
Oops, sorry. It was a bit exciting and distracting, and we were just, you know, in a tight-ish space and really wanted to get the sail up, and now we're going 6.5 knots, so that's a good start.
Yeah, so just to give you context there, I was inside working away, and then I heard noises of sails going up, and I thought I'll just come out to check what's going on. I decided to put the mainsail up at the narrowest point in the channel with reefs either side, and we had to motor for like maybe 20 minutes to get out of the bay, and they just clearly just got bored. So engines are off now, we are underway. Minerva Reef, here we come.
Do this, now do that. Now pull it in, now let it out. Oh, I've changed course. Telltales are dead because there's just not enough wind. It's a very sad moment.
Well, this is the thing I always forget to do. Whenever we leave a country, I never take down the courtesy flag until we get to the next one. But it's going to be quite a while till we get there. And our Tongan flag is it's well used, so I think it would be kind to take it down and hide it inside away from the wind so it doesn't get any more ratty.
Yeah, it's time we retired the Tongan flag. It has served us well. It only has, I think, 2 holes in it, which is probably a record for us, because generally the flags come back with about 3 threads on them, vaguely in the shape of a square. So I guess it's time to get started on the New Zealand flag. That's been a mission.
You know, something really sad, in all the paperwork that we had to fill out at customs this morning, they had an extra box that I've never seen any other country ask us, and it said, you know, all the normal stuff of like, what date are you leaving and that kind of thing, how long have you been in the country? And it said, what is your intended date of return to Tonga? And I had to write never, and it made me really sad.
Ow, burn. I mean, maybe sooner rather than later. I don't know. We're not coming back this early.
We have heard a lot of people be like, Tonga's so cool. We've changed our plans. We're coming back next year. Didn't do too badly in the end. 2 holes like you suggested.
That's all right. Quality workmanship.
Something like that. Just demonstrating how the pros do it.
It's a weird situation. Doesn't happen when I'm on helm. How long before we're clear of this mess? Too long.
10 minutes.
Now we're talking 7.5 knots over ground. Can't do that in your moody.
Can in the Corrib Wrekin.
For those who don't know, the Corrib Wrekin is a whirlpool underwater that nearly killed Orson Welles or somebody, didn't it?
George Orwell, writer of 1984.
Nearly died
there,
and wrote that book.
He was up there in a rowing boat for some reason. Anyway.
Whereas today we're just dodging reefs.
Yeah.
Which you've nearly hit twice.
Yeah, there's one over there right now.
I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous at all. I'm just not leaving this spot. 8. I saw you an 8.
Did you see it?
Yeah? Nice.
I was surfing down the way.
7.9.
8.2, 8.3.
See?
So we're celebrating leaving the warmth of the tropics, which we've been living in for like the last 5 years. And we're still in denial about going down to New Zealand where it's going to be freezing. But just before we go, we have got 2 last coconuts. So Ian is wielding a machete off the back of the boat as we're starting to hit the swell. And hopefully he doesn't chop a hand off. And we'll have some nice drinks to celebrate.
I may have made a mess. It's fine then. These notches were here before.
We're going for a refit, it's fine.
Yeah, right. Cocktails are served.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy. We ran out of umbrellas about 3 islands ago. Well, that backfired fairly quickly.
Oh, we bought them this morning in the market and they came out of an ice box. So when we got back to India, I just threw them in the freezer, but I clearly left them a bit long and they're kind of solid. 5 minutes and they'll be fine.
There aren't many drinks on this planet you say 5 minutes to sunbake before they're drinkable. We've made coconut slushies.
And soon we'll get to New Zealand and we won't be able to do that anymore. You know, we'll just be living off hot chocolate the whole time.
It's so cold. We're already starting to turn to base layers and things. It's getting serious, people. Meanwhile, you're on holiday. Shorts and t-shirt all the way. Liquid. We thought it was absolute rock solid ice at first because it was like a clear solid block was looking at me, but I managed to pierce the straw through and it's wet inside, so yay, popped it.
Hooray for tropics! Welcome to day 2 of our passage. We have just had a rude awakening overnight. The conditions they're probably actually what we were expecting. I was just hoping that the forecast was wrong. So we're seeing like 2.5 meter waves slamming us from side on. They're pretty close together, so we are rocking about all over the place. But the number of waves that have just hit the side of the boat and come right over the top of us, our rain curtain is out of action. Last week we were sailing and the bottom corner ripped where it fixes down to the boat. So we can't have that down, and it makes such a difference because now these waves are coming not just up on the side of the deck and running down the back of the boat, they're just coming right through the cockpit. So everything in here is just completely soaked and we're all salty, and I don't think any of us have got much sleep. We've been rotating through the night and it's just been squall after squall after squall. So we've got 2 reefs in the main now. The wind is dying, so we might be able to shake one of those out now that we can see what's going on. But overnight when we were kind of seeing 32 knots and lots of rain and no moon and all that kind of thing, it was It was a bit more exciting than I wanted it to be. We've been going at like 8 or 9 knots all night, and when we started hitting 10 in the dark, I was like, yeah, that's my limit. So we've passed 2 boats so far over on our starboard side, and now we're just pinching in front of them. They're way back there now, we can't see them anymore. Had a little chat over the radio, and yeah, we'll see what today brings. Hopefully everything is going to start calming down, and we should arrive in about 24 hours tomorrow morning.
Good morning. Well, I guess you guys might have been up for a little bit longer because I think Bernie sent a morning message to you guys already, but we are cruising along. The wind has actually started to turn behind us, which is helping for the comfort value for sure. The waves are maybe a little bit slow to respond, but they are slowly heading to our aft quarter, which is perfect because it kind of means that everyone's going to get a bit more sleep tonight, and generally speaking, we don't have to work quite so hard on the sailing. That said, we have been sitting somewhere between 6.5 and 8 knots, depending on what's happening, as the odd squalls are rolling over, but I guess that rinses the salt off the deck, so that's no bad thing. Turns out we do have some company that we're looking out for, and I just got word from my brother who's following our tracker. He has reported that there are 9 boats hanging out down in Minerva Reef, so it sounds like we can have a bit of a party when we get there. I'm just hoping that there's still space, because it's not that big a reef, and you know, if there's no space, there's nowhere else to stop really. So fingers crossed it's not turn around and go home. Well, we can't do that. Carry on to New Zealand, that would be wild. Hopefully not. We're also still working out how to handle watches, which has been quite entertaining. Brendan and I are just so used to operating on a 2-person rotation, and we just kind of work to whoever's least tired stays up longest, that kind of thing. We spoke about that recently actually in a video where we talked about how we handle being short-handed. It's like a weird luxury having 3 of us, because now we have to figure out how to fit 3 people into a watch schedule but still get enough sleep, but not too much sleep that we're then up for like 3 watches in a row when we shouldn't be. So this is quite a good testing run, because it's just a 2-day run to Minerva, and it gives us that chance to figure out how that's going to operate for the next 7 or 8 days, I guess, to get down to New Zealand. So we'll try and keep you posted, but it should be the life of luxury. 3 people. I just don't know. I don't know. I was so used to 2. We're going to get used to it. We're going to find a way.
Well, I woke up to the sound of a spinnaker being lifted.
We're moving!
You happier now?
Much happier. Yeah, well, we came up and we were looking around and we're like, okay, we've been cruising along at like 4.5 to 5 knots, and the boom was starting to do that thing where it starts bouncing, and I just get nervous we're going to break things. So, packing's up.
Woohoo!
Yeah, we're back up to 7 knots right now out of 11 true, which is great.
So much better.
And we're not too far off our line actually, so we should be okay. I reckon we'll get there, well, at this rate we'll get there about 4 in the morning tomorrow morning.
But don't worry, the voice of reason is here, and we're not going to be flying the spinnaker overnight with all these squalls. Are we now, children?
It's 2 versus 1 now.
I can now not sleep for the entire rest of the passage. The winds did start to fill in, so just before sunset we dropped the spinnaker, and now the white sails are back out for the night. And so far everything is going pretty smoothly. The wind is starting to track round behind us, so we're getting more and more comfortable. We're still making like 8.5 knots. As soon as we start hitting the 9s and the 10s, I wish we weren't going quite so fast, but we've only got 60 miles to go. We are closing in on Minerva Reef. I have just finished writing our passage blog for today. So every time we sail from one country to another, we write a daily passage blog and we share that with our patrons. For this passage, we are opening that up to anybody who wants to read it. So if you want to get all the sort of behind the scenes stories, the more nitty gritty details of what is going on that we cannot fit into this video, you can just sign up for free, put your email address in on our website, and every day you will get an email with the latest blog every single day until we arrive in New Zealand. So if you want even more out of the adventure, you know where to find it. Otherwise, it's getting cold, so I'm just going to snuggle up and wait for morning, and hopefully, we won't even be able to say land ho, because there's no land at Minerva Reef. What are we going to say?
We made it officially. Landish sort of reef-ho? What's the term? It's low tide right now, so there is some reef showing. So land. I guess that's what land is. Land-ho, we have officially made it to Minerva Reef. We do have a little bit of an issue. Currently going on at the back step, and I'll show you the video of that in a minute. But we've made it pretty easy. We've actually been able to fly the Falcon. I just woke up to find that the Falcon is flying, which is great. Slight collision course with another boat here that's also arriving at the same time. And it is busy. There's like 13 boats already in there, anchored. So I guess everyone knows this is the weather window to head south, because as I said, this is kind of like the, what do you call this? The kind of the prepping zone, the last stop, the last hurrah. It's the last salute in town. So I think everybody's still on the same mindset. We're gonna get here, hang out and wait for the right weather window and then straight south. We just have to get through the pass first. Thankfully, we've had a little bit of experience with passes.
Yeah, we started our morning with having to untangle the fishing line from our starboard rudder. At some point overnight with the sail changes and things, it just dropped low enough to get slightly tangled. Thankfully, it wasn't wrapped around the prop, and so we just sort of pulled it in a little bit, and once we got close enough, the movement of the wave dislodged it from wherever it had got caught. So we're almost at the pass, and the lines are going to come in and the spinnaker is going to drop, but we are just trying to get every single meter out of this wind before we have to turn the engines on.
So that is pretty surreal. So all of this reef ends up underwater in about 4 hours time. And it's just this ring, this donut, a bit like Beveridge Reef, where there is no land to be seen, but this somehow breaks down the waves just enough to make it possible to anchor in here. So we're gonna hang here for a while, and then hopefully the wind turns in our favor, and then it's time for the big leap. We have so many jobs to do between now and then. We're mostly prepped, we're just not all the way prepped.
This arrival is so surreal. Like when we stopped in Beveridge Reef out near Niue, it was really odd to be sailing along in the middle of the ocean and then suddenly find a bit that was shallow enough that we could anchor. And we were all alone in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and that was really strange. But I think it's weirder to be sailing along, crossing the Pacific Ocean, find a bit that's shallow enough to drop your anchor, and there's like 15 other boats here as well. There's like this whole sailing community who are all doing this same journey, who are all picking these same weather windows, and everybody is pausing here and waiting for the right winds. So I think this could be a really fun stopover. We are no longer completely alone. We are just as remote, but now we have company.
So we have officially arrived. We're here in Minerva, and we're back to nice watercolor. That's the first thing we all noticed, is it is so inviting. We haven't yet checked what temperature the water actually is, because we're further south than we were, which probably means it's cold. But we are going to have to clean the hulls while we are here, because New Zealand have quite strict rules around the cleanliness of your hull and any growth of like barnacles and things. So yeah, I think we have a bit of exploring to do. And our good friends Richard and Michelle are on their way here actually. They were a bit behind us. And Richard is known as the Mayor of Minerva, so we will hang out with him and hopefully he can show us the sights, and maybe we'll get some diving in too.
And you can tell we're just about to arrive because everybody has got changed into their fancy wear. I think this might be the version 1 of our Red Sea match. I don't even know if it's official.
Of course it's official, it's got the badge.
Did you make this one?
No, I did not make this one. I did wash it rigorously, but anyway.